Okay, so here we are. This is our War World Battle Circuit game against Darklighter. So just to recap where we're at now, we played JL Jochum in the first round, and we lost. So we were sent down to losers bracket, where we faced off against Jorel's McCready, Dustov's Lee, and Dusto's Newberg. And now this is the first time we're facing Darklighter and we're facing Jochum again. So Jochum, obviously quite a challenging commander for everyone. Kind of the Swiss Army knife, good at everything, but one of the only commanders who can really fight Nandi for those early game bombs. So what we do here is we take our trade. We're going to buy the mech. It's a great card. And one of the things you can't let Jochum do is get scrap. I mean, you can't. There's a lot of things as Nandi you don't want Jochum to get. You don't want him to get discard. You don't want him to get scrap, and you can't stop him from getting everything. But his 7-card hand is going to obliterate you in the late game if he scraps out. So we're just going to take Enforcer Mech and pass the turn. Darklighter here with his 7-card hand. He's going to take that packed ship. He's then going to bring it back to play for the damage and the trade, and to pick up Nightstar. So solid first turn for Rick there. He's picked up 2 great cards, yeah, we're gonna take our authority, which we almost always do. Only taking trade if we absolutely has to. We're going to take the Docker. Because again, you know, he doesn't need that many cards in his hand. And then we're going to take Imperial Smuggler. Cycles, we can get rid of it. Its velocity, again, really good for Jochum. We want it more. Then we are going to slap out. We see Colossus on the row. We're going to slap out our Gambit. We're going to cycle away, or rather discard away our Cycler. We're going to get the 3, and we're going to take a base. And that's just to take it away from... We don't really want Darklight to take... Like, we've got an Enforcer Mech. We don't really want to use that damage just on a base that he's taken, but it's also... you know, if Rick takes the yellow base here, we want to be able to try and get rid of that for free with an ally ability rather than punching through it with damage that we have. So we force 2 discard on Darklighter. He's gonna go straight in there and get Moonworm Hatchling. He's really plugging here to build up on his trade. Also works well with his pact. He's going to then cycle into those cards, leaving a couple starters behind. Take the Builder Bot because scrap is good. And now all those cards that he's purchased are in his next 2 hands. So underwhelming hand for us. We're going to play out our base, take the trade. Going to top the Blob Miner because there's a real danger here that Darklighter picks up Colossus Roadie, whatever you want to call it, Colossus of Rhodes. I kind of like that name. That's what I use. But anyway, we're gonna cycle away our Viper, and we are gonna get Rhodey out of dodge because it's not okay for him to take that. It's really bad news. Unfortunately, Summit Sight also comes out to play. So we take the Docker, scrap out the Blob Miner. He's done his job, and smash. So sure enough, out comes all the trade. He definitely would have had Colossus, and he takes his prize of Summit Sight. It's a decent consolation prize for sure. And then he's just got those things. So gets rid of our base and hits us for a bit of damage. So here we're smuggling. Going to use all our trade. We're going to take the Sentinel again. Damage that we don't want him to have with all his green, and also you do have to be really careful that you're not letting Jochum dock, because that, like, a 7-card hand is bad enough. And then we're going to take Security Craft. Always a good card, good for Jochum because they can ally it really easily. Good for us because it gives us survival and we can usually hit the trade. And here we've got a decent shot here of getting a bomb in our next hand if we use the trade from our shuttle. So Rick's going to Night Star out. He's already had his big trade hand, so he shouldn't, touch wood, shouldn't see another one. He shouldn't be picking up Embassy, but he does build a bot. And we get a bit squeaky bum as we see he could have, but he doesn't. He picks up the base, leaves Embassy out, which we're actually really, really happy because we do have Dockers, and that is a yellow-blue base. We're going to scrap. We're going to get straight in there for this. We're going to take our trade. We're going to grab Embassy. This is fantastic for us. Cycling through our deck is really, really good. Gives us a fighting chance of kind of beating Darklighter's Jochum in velocity. And we do get lucky to see it on top, and we've got a Docker in our hand, which is fantastic news. Again, seizes green together. He's going to pick up Pulverizer. It's a good draw. It's good scrapping off the row. He's going to take a base to cycle through, and he opens up the cannon nanobots, and that could be really good for us if we see the right cards. So first thing we're going to do is put down the base, cycle through, draw 2, discard 1. We're going to get rid of that one trade there, and we've also got a Docker there, and we pull more trade, and all of a sudden things look actually really good because there's 6 trade. There's our nanobots that we can take by getting that trade, and this right now, that is really good. It's what we want to see. So we docked 2 cards. It gives our next hand a lot of potential. Rick sees Darklighter sees Summit Sight, sees the other base, goes ham on cycling, sees a lot of green cards. He's there taking his extra authority from his shards and some damage from his shards. Gets rid of our base, unfortunately. Thankfully, because we docked, we do have a draw in there, and we've got enough probably to get rid of it. He's taking the bot. He doesn't want us to pop that on top, draw it, and scrap from discard. So we're just going to play out those cards, get rid of the base. We're going to take card to top, take the builder bot, and we're going to draw it and then scrap. And also that just gives us enough damage to get rid of the Summit Sight, which is just dandy. And it also gives us a shot at Midgate, which is great. Unfortunately, it does reveal the silo, which Rick's going to pick up here. Great card, would have been a great card for us, but it's also a great card for Rick. So he's going to ally his Night Star to his base. He's going to get the trade he needs for that silo, and that's going to start to become quite dangerous if those pair. Again, leaving us a builder bot. Just like a builder bear, we love a builder bot, so we're going to top it. We're going to cycle in, get rid of our starter. We're going to scrap. We're going to get the free base destruction from our mech. We're going to cycle into and discard that. And now this, because we picked up nanobots, and we're not going to want the builder bot again. We get rid of his siege fortress, and we scrap our enforcer mech to draw into the new deck, so that we can see our nanobots and our embassy base as soon as possible. And we get rid of the builder bot because we don't want that anymore. We've got nanobots, that's enough scrapping. We want to try and stay lean. So next hand is Pants, but there you go. Night Star comes down, very timely fashion. Pulverizer comes in, fair bit of damage. It's gonna get some punch through our base, and this hand is very lackluster for us. We're just gonna take the transport, and that's really it until we see the Docker, and you know, if one Docker's good, or rather if one yellow Docker is good and another one's great, Imperial Defender, second one coming up there is huge for us. And so this next hand is pretty good. Rick going looking for another base. There's another base that discards there, which is not what we really want to see. We're okay, but we've got draw, but we're still quite vulnerable to discard with our 5-card hand, so Rick absolutely takes that. And you know, we're down at 28. We're not out of the woods, but what we can do, we have to discard. We can nanobots, and we do get slightly lucky. We've got plenty in the discard to get rid of because we cycle into that deck with 3 or 4 cards out. We're going to Embassy and Midgate, and then we're going to draw into the cycle of the deck. We get rid of the starter, we Imperial Defend. Great, we've got a couple draws there from the Defender and allying our Midgate. Perfect. We're going to play out our Docker and our other blue cards and our Sentinel. We're going to grab a base. We're going to discard that for damage, and we're just going to punch through those bases. We don't want to see Missile Silo out. Take the 7. Not doing anything with the trade, but we dock into the next hand. Darklighter has a discard, but he sees his Summit Sight and he sees his green, so he's going to be able to punch through our things. Cycles away, gets a Plasma Bot, and a Fred pops up. He does have the trade for Fred. So disappointing. Neural Nexus goes, but he does leave our Embassy out, and that's huge for us. So straight into our 2 defenders now. We've got our 2 Dockers out. Going to cycle into the new deck, get a Midgate, great. Discard our starters, start trying to apply some discards and get a base wall going. I'm going to cycle with our Embassy, again get rid of starters, play all of our blue out. There's a Nexus, thank you very much. Straight to top because and then get an Alliance. It's more discard, and just going to take some damage, punch through, try and reduce him, and we've actually gained a ton of life here. Embassy staying out, absolutely massive. So Rick's going to have to get rid of a couple of cards, but he's got his Siege Fortress, he's got his Night Star. These are all cards he didn't have in the top of his deck. He Moonworm Hatchlings away. Our Midgate, he can get rid of the Needle Lancer. A huge hit coming in, gets rid of all of our bases and smacks us for 20. Luckily though, because of our docking, we have a massive hand. So we can Nexus away starter. We can defend through, get into some cards, cycle away things that we don't need, like that shuttle starter, get a draw from the Nexus with our base nanobots into our Embassy, which is wonderful. Play that, use it, draw, get rid of our starters, and then just cycle through, try and have our kind of pop-up base wall again, and get all of our yellow down. Sentinel. We don't actually have a ton of damage in this deck. What we're trying to do is cycle through absolutely everything so that we can get down to our best cards and dock the dickens out of everything. So Darklighter only on a discard 2, and we're only kind of tickling him for 12 to 18 a turn here. He's on Summit Sight, gets his Silo, gets his Night Star, gets his Fred, does some damage with his Assault Shards. He's got the ability to knock a couple bases out here for free. If he wants. He chooses just to use the Silo ability and keep his Warkite, and gets rid of Fred there. 36-28. We do still have our Dockers in hand, so we're going to get draws akimbo. Out come the defenders, out come the Midgate, get the 3rd draw, then we can cycle through with our starter, get rid of a cargo boat, and then again cycling through, getting rid of the Sentinel because we do have enough damage to get rid of his bases. We'd much rather see nanobots there and keep our authority high with our cards. Get rid of those, use the nanobots to cycle. There's nothing really that we want to scrap there. We do scrap the base. I think I felt like I was in danger of having too many do nothing cards at this stage of the game, and with the authority gain that we've got going on and the draw that we've got going on, bearing in mind that we're going to dock everything again because of the Embassy, I felt like we could get rid of that base, because that's not all that's doing is keeping us alive by 5 soak a turn. It's not actively helping us to end the game, and that's where we need to be, because Darklighter is starting to get lean now, and our earlier game advantage is starting to disappear a little bit, maybe. As he cranks up damage and is seeing more cards than we were. But we've got 22 on the board. We can get rid of his bases. We can knock him down to 24. We scrap the starters out there. We dock again. And here we are in Draw City. Our deck's pretty small now with our bases out and our dockers coming back to our hand. So again, free base destructions, left, right, and center, pulverizing, drawing, scrapping. And again, getting rid of our base wall and hitting us. And now it's just a case of can we finish Darklighter before he has a really big turn, because we're now at the stage where either of us with a big turn could end it. And here we see that we do actually have a big hit, but not the end of the game. We get him down to 5, but we do heal up to 42. We should be okay. He's got some bases going on. He's got some discard going on. He's got a lot of damage going on with free base destruction, but he can only drop us to 20 and a discard of 2, which is key. So we get rid of the heals. We need our bases. We want to be able to try and draw into another yellow, which we do. So we get rid of Sentinel. We then play mid-gate and we cycle with Smuggler. And we're going to get rid of the Raft. We draw with the mid-gate with the 3rd yellow into Nanobots. Quite fortunate. Get to play the Nexus draw with Nanobots and get a Nexus draw as well after we've scrapped. In with the 2 defenders. Security Craft coming out to play. And we just have slightly enough juice to end it. And that is arguably fortunate with some of the cards that we saw, but it felt like we got a really good couple of pickups, and it felt like we were in control. And then Darklighter started coming back into it, and we had to really be mindful of being able to finish the game before Darklighter could leverage his late game deck and his hands. So that was really close. And I know the authority totals were all over the place at one point, but it felt like a really good kind of back and forth duel. And as always, you've got to see the bombs with Nandi, and we were fortunate we picked up our nanobots and we got the docking going with Embassy. So we felt like we had a good game. Jochum's always dangerous, so there's that. I think if Darklighter had been able to scrap out faster, I think we'd been in a lot of trouble. But luckily he couldn't. GG Rick, that was a good game. So on to the next match.